By being the family during the night, are we talking about the vampire family? They're only your family at night, and in the morning they're complete strangers, or everybody goes to bed or they avoid sunlight. Are we in Transylvania? This is no joke when I'm telling you that the topic we're going to cover today is one of the most challenging IELTS rubrics out there. Many IELTS candidates have struggled with this particular rubric. It seems easy because it is an opinion essay, but at the same time, there are challenging words, and it's very important that you understood the rubric quite well. On that note, are you ready to start analyzing it? Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing the rubric, which says, in some areas of the US, a curfew is imposed in which teenagers are not allowed to be out of doors after a particular time at night unless they are accompanied by an adult. As I just said, it's an opinion essay, so what's your opinion? So IELTS is basically very concerned about your personal opinion, and that's it. So this task has only one main agenda or main idea to focus on. However, the challenging part lies within these first lines. It is limited to some regions in the United States. So it's not international. We cannot say people, all people, everywhere, anyone. And then you might struggle with the meaning of the word curfew, but IELTS kind of gives you the meaning, which means you are not allowed to be out of your home from a particular hour all the way until the following day. But this is only imposed on who? Teenagers. Another limitation. So the limitation is for people from the age of 13 all the way to 19. And then it's at night with a condition. If that teenager is accompanied by an adult, then that's fine. So the police will not escort them back to their house because the parents are already there. But to understand the meaning, you also need to know what the structure unless means or how it is used here. As you can see, there are critical elements in this rubric, which, well, pretty much make it very challenging. And that's exactly why we're here. So now we know it is limited to the US, it's only imposed on teenagers, and we need to mention also that whether the adults accompany them or not. If you're looking for a very good, very high score, you need to mention these elements. And you need to avoid overgeneralization because this is not about all the people on the planet. This is certainly not about all the people in the US. It's only about teenagers in the US in a certain regions of the US, not even in the entire country. On that note, let's continue analyzing the task with the response. Now, the candidate's response says, some rules in the US are imposed by the government. Usually, all rules are imposed by the government because it's the government who set the rules, so you don't have to say some, that would confide teenagers. That's not how confide works. You confide something to someone, or you confide to teenagers that going out might be dangerous. This word is not accurate here. Probably that would limit teenagers or would prevent teenagers from going out at night without accompanying their parents. Oh, Teenagers are not accompanying their parents? Wow. These are gangster teenagers. They go on the streets, they look around, they observe. If there are no threats and everything is safe, then they call their parents to come out of their house. They tell their parents that it's safe outside. Don't worry, mom. Don't worry, dad. Don't worry, uncle. Everything is safe. Because we know we searched every inch on the streets. There are no threats. There are nobody here. You can come out. We will protect you. We are super teenagers. Actually, the word order here is wrong because it's the parents who must accompany children, or teenagers, actually, sorry. So teenagers should not accompany their parents. I think that it is a useful strategy, and I will outline. We don't know what here. Outline doesn't have an object, and I will outline. So basically, I now understand the writer believes this is a useful strategy. Cool. I think it shouldn't be a full stop here, and I need a comma, and even that, I can just delete this and basically say, I think that it is a useful strategy, and will outline the reasons probably here. Based on this introduction, I don't understand how the structure is going to be. There is no structure in front of me. I don't know. The whole essay is just the writer's own opinion. Are there any subsections? In which paragraph are we going to about what topic? I still don't know. I'm like you. So let's read and see how the writer is going to defend his opinion or her opinion. On the one hand, okay, I mean, that's just, why on the one hand? Is the writer going to say something and then something contradictory? Like some opposite views? Because usually in these circumstances, we can say for one, for another. To mention like, okay, this is the first reason, and for another means for the second reason, or for the other reason. For one, for another, instead of on the one hand, on the other hand, which is going to say something completely different. It is an effective way for spending more time with their family. Okay, I assume this one is going to be the benefits of not going out and spending more time with their families. By imposing a rule that would limit teenagers to be at home at particular hours, especially at night, I need the comma here, they could spend their time alongside their family. I don't need this. Which would boost their relationship with them. Okay. I don't need comma here. By facing more difficulties, plural, in the family, they have to solve it. Pardon? By facing more difficulties. Okay. In the family, they have to solve. I'm a bit lost. I don't know what happens here. I really don't know how to punctuate this. In the family, which they have to solve, not it. I mean, more difficulties which they have to solve in their own families. Maybe that's the way it is. And have more talks about it. And talk about, okay, so I mean, again, the word order is not accurate, because you don't solve a problem or a difficulty here, and then you start talking about it. Usually, if my understanding is correct, you talk with your family, you come up with some ideas, and then you go ahead and solve the problem. I know there are some circumstances, if a problem is solved, then you just come and you boast and you say, yeah, you saw me, it was I who solved this problem for the family. Yeah, but I don't think that's the case. I would have rewritten this sentence, in this part of the sentence, as they will be able to face more difficulties by talking about them and solving them together as a family. That sounds more natural and sounds better, really. The message is actually a lot clearer. Even if they would like to go outside, I'm assuming they here refers to teenagers, as they would have to go out with an adult, as they would have to, it's better to say as they have to go out with an adult, this bond would be maintained. I'm not sure if we can say this many woulds. I mean, even if they would like to go outside, this would means this is would like. This is if they want to go outside, then they have to go outside with an adult, which in turn means that the bond between them will be strengthened or even will be maintained. That is better than using this many would. Moreover, teenagers could be under supervision, could be under the supervision by their family. Okay, so the second reason is that they will be supervised, as they would allow who to go out by an adult, as they are allowed to go out by an adult. That person, who's that person? The adult or the teenager? Who would accompany the okay, that person, the adult, who accompanies, I don't need would, the teenagers, why it's plural now? Oh, because it's teenagers. Okay. Accompany the teenagers is a member of the family who is reliable for supervising the children, not the children. Who's supervising, again, these young adults, if you don't want to keep repeating teenagers. But it's okay if you repeat teenagers for this particular topic, because the topic is about teenagers. But this is not correct. That adult person, I guess we have adult animals. Don't make a mistake. We're not talking about an adult elephant or an adult tiger or an adult kangaroo. We're focused on adult people. The adult, that adult person has an influence on teenagers for guiding them through the night, during the night, so as to be safe. Okay, very weird vocabulary, very weird organization, word order, and grammar. And they could apply the principles which are, it's also overly complex. There are so many complex structures, one after another. It's really frustrating. The principles which are acceptable by family, teenagers, for example, avoiding them. I mean, no. Preventing them. This is not a good word here. It doesn't fit the context. Preventing them from drinking alcoholic drinks. Oh, that's a different topic, by the way. Or having fun with, preventing them from drinking alcoholic drinks, or having fun, preventing them from having fun with the right peers, or encouraging them to have fun with the right peers. The right peers, by the way. Furthermore, it is true to say that in this way, teenagers would be more successful in their lives. How? What does success have to do with any of this? By being the family during the night, are we talking about the vampire family? They're only your family at night, and in the morning they're complete strangers, or everybody goes to bed or they avoid sunlight. Are we in Transylvania? By being the family during the night or an adult in the outdoor? What? This is weird. This is totally weird. Why? You change faces? You change. It's like a Superman. You're a Superman outside, but when you come back home, you go to work, then you're a journalist. They could not form a peer group in which they act freely without any permission on that would have negative effects on them. It's beyond correction. Too many complex structures intertwined, mixed. So basically, the message is, if I can understand, that teenagers would like to form peer groups, like teenage groups, and they want to hang around with their friends freely without supervision. Okay, but basically that denies the previous note. But hey, let's just move on with this and say, okay, they just want to be with their friends. Now they're the good people and they're good friends, good peers, and they don't want to do anything bad together. No alcohol drinking, no vandalism, no graffiti. Okay, cool. And then that act of being a member of a team will help them later on to form a very good relationship, and they will learn a lot of life lessons worth learning, and they gain a lot of experience, so they will thrive. They become very good members of the society later on. As the principle of life in teenage years would form the future of them, there are so many woods. There's a lesson about wood and where you can actually use it. It's about 1 to 2 minute read. It's very short. It basically gives you everything you need about wood. I'll put the lesson about wood in the description below. The future of them. And such peer groups would destroy the principle of having a successful life. It would be significant for teenager. I have no idea. As the principle of life in teenage years would form the future of them, and such peer groups would destroy the principle of having a successful life, it would be significant. There are too many words. Significant for teenagers to be accompanied by an adult in order not to get involved in such destructive groups. Too many generic words, too complex structures, and this is one giant paragraph. No wonder it is very hard to understand what the messages are, when the previous message started and when it ended, and then when the next message starts. And I recreate the sentences in my head. There are two main issues: word order, word choice, and too complex sentences. We don't have to say complex structures this way. Also, the grammar using would is not accurate. This many would is not healthy for a piece of writing. We need to know why we're using it. And now we're in the conclusion. In conclusion, I believe that this rule would help families. And we never mentioned we're in the US. We're talking about only families in the US. We never mentioned that. To have suitable control, that's a weird collocation, over teenagers by themselves or an adult who is a member of the family, that leads to having better supervision and forming an acceptable principle, which are essential for a stressful life in the future, and also forming a good relationship. It's one sentence, completely meaningless. Completely meaningless. It's very generic. I don't know Are we talking about you as teenagers here? And good relationships between who and who? Between teenagers themselves, or teenagers and the authorities, or teenagers and their parents? This is basically like, I say so, I believe this is a positive effect, let's make it happen. And I have written 362 words about this. Oh my God. So let's look at the band descriptors. Well, yeah. Okay. It was an opinion essay, so we had to address the opinion, and we did that, so that's it. We presented our own opinion, but the conclusion was filled with very generic, repetitive, unclear sentences. I wasn't sure if they were about the US teenagers, or it can be applied to anyone, senior citizen, toddler, an individual from the Netherlands, or a grandmother from South Africa. This can be for everyone. And it wasn't limited to the topic that we actually wanted to talk about. And even inside the body paragraph, that we had many overgeneralized sentences, and many of them lacked focus. As for coherence and cohesion, I had connection issues, especially missing elements, definitely referencing issues. Some discourse markers were not used accurately, and we had underuse of discourse markers. Many sentences weren't connected accurately. We had two complex structures. We needed to break them down into understandable parts and elements and join them with some proper vocabulary or connector, but we didn't have those either. Paragraphing was clear. The introduction was introduction, the conclusion was the conclusion, and the main giant body paragraph, which was only one paragraph, had one focus, just to convince us that this is a good trend. Yeah, but it's not very well written, so it's just, yeah, there's a central topic, that's all, but it doesn't say anything better than that. My main issue is that I had many difficulties, both in vocabulary, word order and word choice, and also grammatical punctuation, especially complex sentences. I had many issues with complex sentences. They weren't formed accurately to give me a correct message, or generally correct messages throughout. And that's why 5.5 is a good score for this essay, but it shouldn't stay here. There are certain things we can do. Shorter, to the point sentences. We need to make sure that our sentences deliver the message. We don't have to mix messages. Another point, we can divide the paragraph into two. We only needed two reasons for our opinion in two different paragraphs. And in each paragraph, we can talk about any item, any reason. So it's a lot better, instead of writing three reasons all in one paragraph, we could write two reasons and devote one paragraph to each reason and properly develop it with better sentences, and there is no stress, and the reader will not struggle a lot when the poor reader reads all of them and doesn't understand the message, or understands the message with a ton of difficulties. Anyway, I hope you have wonderful takeaways. This is a topic we are going to check more on this channel. So be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. And next time when we upload one of these assessment videos, you will be notified. On that note, I hope I'll be assessing yours. Maybe essay, maybe letter or report. No one knows. Next time. Bye for now.